Hi there guys, Office Boy Builder here. Welcome back to the channel. In the last episode you will have seen that we installed this staircase. Still lots and lots for me to do. Something that I think I forgot to show you in the last episode. I may have shown you. I'm going to spin you around. I'm just going to show you a couple of little bits that are pretty important and that we had to make sure we get right. So I'm going to spin you around. Okay, so first things first, with a tiny little spirit level, I appreciate it's small, but you can see here that our floor was completely out of level, which is why this is also slightly out of level. But the really important thing is getting them level this way. You don't want to have it too steep this way or too steep that way so that you don't feel like you're falling down the staircase. And so what we had to do in some instances was shim bits and pack bits up in order to make that happen, really, and make sure that we were very comfortable that at other points on the stairs this was nice and level, like this. So yeah, that's that. We've also bolted this to the wall all along here because this is a timber stud, and I've done it down at the bottom here where I was able to get into the timber frame that I put in here. I now need to go back through and use some Chem-Fix and some roll plug bolts to drive into the brick and secure this in place. So that's important. This is the landing section, which admittedly is possibly a bit short. And the solution for that is maybe I mean, the building inspector might not even be that bothered, to be honest. It might well be that they go, oh well, it is what it is, you know, it's not the end of the world. The other alternative is something I don't overly want to do, but I could always build out a little stud wall here and a little stud wall here, and I could set the doorway into the room a little bit that way. Not ideal, not something I overly want to do, but I can do that if I really need to. So that's a solution. Obviously I have to get banisters and handrails on here, so that's going to be one of my main jobs. So bolting this and securing it in is a big job, and then getting banisters on is also another big job. So that's nice and level this way. It's also nice and level this way, so that's really important. That's a nice big flat quarter landing, which is great because it gives us really good access up into here, which I'm really pleased about because that makes life easier for the future. I need to trim these down in full, and I need to kind of clean all of this up so I can run plasterboard down, and I'm going to be putting plasterboard across on the underside of this here, and then running plasterboard down here and trying to kind of blend it in with this. I may well end up using another kind of picture rail type thing at the point that it meets. But then at the same time, it might just be because I've got this gap down here. I mean, that we could just fill with painter's mate, to be honest, or expanding foam and then make good. So I think that would be easier rather than putting plasterboard over the whole thing all the way across. So there are lots of different options of how you can finish it, really. I've still got access to all my electrical cables, which is really good, so I can tidy those up, neaten that up, make sure that I'm happy with all of those. That's really good. So the staircase has gone in, it's super strong. The other thing I need to do is put banisters in. I know it sounds like I've cheated, but I went online and there's a UK staircase, like spindle calculator, and so I've put in the distance between here and how thick my spindles are. They're all 41 mil, and it's told me that to get them all evenly spaced I need 8 of them, and they need to be 93 mil distance away from each other. In the UK you cannot have any more than 100 mil as a gap in between your spindles. That gap there on those ones is exactly 100 mil, so that's fine. But this one here, to get them evenly spaced, will be 6 spindles at 86.3 mil, so that's fine. I can get that. There's another one bang on, so that's nice. So yeah, so I've got these bolts here that I'm going to be using to drive into the wall. So that'll be good. And I'm going to set this depth in because this much of it will be timber from the stringer, and then this will be solidly in the wall. So I can make sure I set all of these, you know, nice and far down like that. And then this drill bit will drive in. So got that all done. So yeah, I'm just going to get started on these things now. I'll probably set you up on a time lapse and just crack on really. There's quite a lot to do. The kids are out today. It's half term in October, so the kids are out today, which is good. So I can spend a decent bit of time just concentrating on all of these bits and making sure I'm nice and accurate with what I want to achieve. Time lapse done, and I've put the bolts in. So just to be really clear, so you guys don't come after me in the comments, I have 1, 2, 3 timber locks into timber studs on this side. I have a big bolt here, a big bolt here, another timber lock there going into a stud, and then these 2 bolts that you saw me do, one there and one there. So it's pretty solid, right? I mean, these are the timber locks that we used. Absolutely enormous, very, very strong structural timber screws, which is what we've used throughout the rest of the build in various different places. I mean, you can actually see one poking out there, which isn't the best, but look, here you go. All of these things. The building inspector is very happy with these. One of the bolts, I got a bit lucky really. I installed this plug socket and the cables run up, and I completely missed the cables somehow, thankfully, very fortunately, but it did blow out the plaster at the back here, which is a bit of a pain. The collar that I put on slipped off, and so yeah, couldn't find the depth. It doesn't matter, it's full, completely chock full of Chemfix. This stuff here made by Roll Plug. An amazing product which I used when I was building the external walls and securing them to the wall plate. If you haven't seen that, check it out up here. And I went through tons of this stuff. It's a brilliant, brilliant product, and it sets completely solid. Concrete, hollow structures, substrates, outdoor use, indoor use. It's an amazing, amazing product. So yeah, so I've used that. So now I want to leave those to just go off. I want them to set completely hard, and then I can come back with a spanner and I can tighten them up and ratchet it, and it'll pull in nice and secure. Something else that I'm going to do, I don't know if you can see, but it feels a little bit dark in here. So I'm actually going to install a light in here that is connected to the same circuit as these. So I'll run the cable down underneath the stairs and in, up in there, and that'll just mean that we've got a bit more light there. We've got to have light here, light here. I was thinking about doing one on the stairs here as well, but I don't know where I can because it's all angled on this bit, and I don't want it at an angle. Maybe under this section here where there's that flat step. I don't know. We'll have to see. We'll have to see. So right, that's that done. I can now probably start securing in some of these banisters. I don't want to walk on this too much, to be honest. I mean, it's very secure and sturdy. It doesn't move when I walk on it. But now that I've put these bolts in, I think I'll leave it. So what I might do is actually use the multi-cutter and just trim off some of these little bits and give it a bit more time to set off, and maybe trim down this newel post here as well. Right, I have invested in a new tool, so very excited with this. This is a cordless finishing nailer by Hikoki. I've not really been able to justify getting one, but now that I'm doing banisters as well as skirtings, architraves, door linings, etc., etc., it just makes so much sense to get one. So this was the bare unit. Oh, look at that, that's handy. It comes with some safety goggles, that's good. This is the unit, which is great because I've got loads of batteries for Hikoki. It was absurdly cheap. This has come from FFX. If you guys are based in the UK, FFX are brilliant. Genuinely, hands down, I think one of the best suppliers of tools. I buy pretty much all my tools from them. Not necessarily because I'm super loyal to them, but just because they are consistently the cheapest of any supplier that I have found, and their service and their delivery is exceptionally quick. So I bought this last night. I think it was around 8 p.m, 7:30, 8 o'clock, something like that. And it's been delivered, and it's not even midday, the next day. So just amazing. I mean, that's quicker than Amazon, actually. And it came from DPD, who are a very good quality courier, I think, as well. I'm not sponsored by either of those guys. I like talking to you about guys that I like. This box was 30 quid, but it just gives me something to store this in that's not quite as big and as deep as the others, and it can just kind of lay in there. It comes with some foam. Oh no. I checked the measurements of this. Okay, fine, so we'll have to lie at a bit of an angle. That's fine. I think I'll take this out. I'm not sure what that lining is for, to be honest, but that can just lie there at an angle like that, and now that was shut, so that's good. Great, so now I can get on. I can actually do all of the banisters. I've just cleaned everything up. I've taken all of the kind of excess polyurethane glue off everywhere, and I've also trimmed down this here. I can't find my circular saw, so I did it by hand, but it's nice and flat and square, which I'm really pleased with, so that's good. I can take off that little bit of polyurethane glue that's under there, and yeah, so that's all done. I'm still leaving these. I think they've probably set off now, but I'm just going to leave them. I don't want to chance it, and actually what I could do is I can use this here to test and see. That is set solid. Now this is exposed to the air. The other bits inside are not, so the chemicals might take a little bit longer to set up. So I'm just going to leave that a little bit longer before I then try and tighten those bolts. That's fine. So yeah, we're getting there. We're slowly getting there. I will start on the banisters shortly. I've got a couple more bits to do before I kick that off. The other point I'll just quickly mention about this staircase before I go on to install the banisters is that I know it is quite common to fit the staircase from the top and work your way down. I have no idea how that came to be the norm or why. If you do know why, please post it in the comments, because it is genuinely confusing to me why you would work against gravity rather than with gravity. But in our situation, we didn't know exactly where the staircase was going to land because we needed to create this landing afterwards. And what you typically do is start at the top, work your way down, and then you'd notch the newel posts and cut them and chisel them and whatever else. And I just don't understand how that makes any logical sense versus what we did, which was start at the bottom and work our way up in sections. And then we were able to just fill in the last gap and make sure that was really, really tight, which then means everything else is level and doesn't need cutting down. Now I will have to put a half newel up on the top, I concede on that. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to get, I've got these here, I've got the banisters, And then I've got the little shoe, the toe, I can't remember what this thing's called, the toe something or the toe rail. I think it's the toe rail that the spindles sit on. So I'm going to open this up and start fitting the banisters first, the handrail, from up here to here. So you've seen the banisters are on, and I've trimmed down, used the multi-cut to trim down some bits. I've put these little caps on as well, which look really nice, so that's good. I haven't put it on the top one, I haven't glued it up there, I've put it on but I haven't glued it. What I've been doing here, I've just been blocking out, well, a couple of bits. I've done quite a bit actually. I have blocked out across here to accept a sheet of plasterboard because I'm going to rip down the rest of this and this will run smooth and flat through there. I've also run some electrical cable, so we'll have a spotlight here and a spotlight there, and that should make this area a bit brighter and lighter. So I've connected that up, so that cable is now live. I haven't put a light fitting on it though because I don't really want to have to then take it off to put the plasterboard on. Well, I'm going to have to do all of that in here where I've just terminated it, so it's a bit of a pain. I should have thought about it really, but I didn't. So yeah, I'm going to have to rip all of this plaster off. Probably not now. It's getting a bit late in the day now, and I need to start tidying up because it's 10 to 5 and the kids are going to go to bed soon. So that's that. What I think I might do very quickly though, now that I've done that. Oh, and the other thing that I did is I have up here, I have put in the Wago boxes and I've attached them to the wall here for the loft radial and for the loft ring circuit. So I can tidy all of this up with some, what are they called? Zip ties now. I've got some, got some zip ties, so I can tidy all of that up. And then I think I might try and get a sheet of floorboard on there, just that it kind of finishes it off really. I'll have to trim, I left these long, I'll trim this down using the multi-cutter, and then I'll put a sheet of 22mm chipboard flooring on, and I'll probably take it out quite wide because I can always trim it down, but I can't stick it back on very easily. So yeah, that's that. It's coming together nicely. We are getting there. And then I'll put all the spindles on.